Welcome with Jesus Bible Study. We're going to be in the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, verses 1 and 2. Verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteousness, decrees and that write grievousness, which they have prescribed. Verse 2. To turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob their fatherless. And I'm going to repeat those. Verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteousness, decrees, and that write grievousness, which they have prescribed. Verse 2. To turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Those in ancient Israel, as today in all lands, who prey upon the poor, the vulnerable, and who pervert justice against them and deny them their rights, sins against God. In his eyes, he sees. He sees what you try to do to these children. He knows what you have done in secret. You cannot hide from God. The Pharisees, in the Bible a lot, they really do talk about the widows a lot. And then the reason for it is because if you had no man, the woman was not able to provide for herself, especially if he had no sons, or if the sons were too young. Now the Pharisees would use that to their advantage, because they would go prey on these widows. How they would do that is they would go to their houses and begin to pray for the loss of their loved ones, their children, their husband. And then while doing so, of course, the widows would take what they had left as means as far as the water and the foods, and would provide for them food and water or milk or whatever they had while they was there. Then after the Pharisees got through praying for them, and sometimes they would do these lengthy prayers on purpose to make people think that they was more righteous with God because their prayers were so lengthy, they would charge them, knowing that they would have no means to get more money back into them, because they have no way of doing so. So it wasn't uncommon to see a lot of widows in the Bible times along the side of the traveling roads, or out there outside the cities or in the cities with their children sitting there begging because they had no other way to get money. And then people, because there'd be so many of them sometimes, would then, just like they do the homeless now, get annoyed with them. Anytime we have a certain group of people that is then asking because they're in need, man, how does America sit there and be rude to them? Just like everybody sitting there being rude to all the people that they scroll through on TikTok and see all the people of Syria begging. Because these people cannot go get jobs where they're at, and they're forced into a camp. A camp means they can't leave. A lot of people think they can leave. They can't go nowhere. They won't allow them. And there is no jobs and no work there. And you see a lot of them are living in tents. And it floods there a lot. So all of the belongings, what they do have, gets full of mud because they're living dirt. And the one camps that they did have a setup of stone and brick, they have come through and bulldoze them over, that they are forced to live in these tents. Not only that, but you see the only ones that can find some kind of work is out there chipping away at rocks and bringing stones back to make walls. And the ones that are sitting there making bricks out of mud and straw are making bricks for people who already have homes and buildings. Here they are with no homes or nothing, and they have to go out there and make bricks for the people who take away their homes. That's just god awful. But yet we want, it's like, oh my God, well, we're poor here in America too. I see some of those comments and stuff. But there is websites you can go to donate that does better. I know that, okay, that people on TikTok are giving them the flowers and stuff, but here's the thing about TikTok. And I know I'm on TikTok a lot, but TikTok takes 70% of everything that's sent on TikToks for themselves. Yeah, it's true. And I know TikTok can get on to me all they want to about it, but I don't care. It's the truth. And then the people that actually own those phones to video record those families over there get a percentage out of that. So those people barely get 10% of what's being sent to them. So yes, they're extremely happy no matter what you send them, because they're not going to get very much of it. And yes, they do need that money to provide food. So they're not lying, they are in need. But not only that, but you see the homeless around here. It doesn't matter how they became homeless. The fact of the matter is that they are. And God says you are to help those in need. You have it to give. If you have it to give, you're supposed to give. If you have it to share, you're supposed to share. It says it throughout the whole entire Bible. With all the money that the people have in the world, there should never be no poor man among us. And it says so in the Bible. Those churches are not supposed to be $1 million homes, because the tenth of that tithing is supposed to be going back to the poor. But you don't see any of those churches hardly ever taking that money that is given to them. But they'll tell you real quick, you need to tithe. Don't forget to sow. Don't forget to sow. In Deuteronomy it says sow. Those who are telling you to give money are not following God's word. Jesus never charged, and he did miracles. Think about that. And these churches that are sitting there making bigger churches and bigger churches, but in the surrounding them, they have the most drug addicts and the most homeless people and the most neediest people living all around on the streets. And do you see where they are out there? With those, if you have $1 million homes and you have a freaking football stadium church, then why are you not standing out there handing out thousands to all those homeless around there? Because you obviously can't afford it. If you seat more than 45,000 people in your church and each person gave you $1, you're making more than $45,000 every Sunday. And most of those people are not tipping $1. They're giving their 10% of what they make. You ever notice why you get a small church and then all of a sudden it'd be filled with the most spirit, the most love, and then they pray to get this bigger church, and they move to a new area that the very people who helped them build that big church can no longer afford to even drive to that church, the new bigger one, and they move to an area where they can have the people who have better, more money, a higher ranking and status in their salary, right? And then they take all that money from those people, and then they move a church to get a bigger one over here, to go with people who have more money over here. It's greed. But the bigger the churches keep getting, the less soul it seems to have, the less love, the closeness it seems to have for God. I'm just saying, those are the facts. Think about it. And in no one of them are they going out and helping the surrounding people around them. You're supposed to have those soup kitchens. But you know, in the churches don't even have the doors open no more. Everybody locks and closes it. And the churches are always supposed to be open. That's why it was all originally called sanctuaries back in the day, for people to find peace, rest, and be able at no point and no matter what time in their life to go find God if they need to. They almost make it impossible for the people that need God to find God. They reject the people that need God from coming in the doors because they don't want the likes of you coming into their church. For shame, for shame. God have mercy on their souls. It's not right. That's not God.